I'm disappointed. We're going to have a good crowd there, but we're not going to have a great crowd there, and we still have time to change that. And I think a lot of the times, like if a person's not coming, more than likely they're going to tell you, well, "I don't have the money." Okay, and if you truly don't, I understand. Okay, but I really truly don't understand the people who live, I would say, from Los Angeles down, that can make this a day trip, come down, drive a couple hours, stay the day, and come home. And I don't believe that a lot of you can't afford $200. And I have backup on that. But if Mark sent you a letter today for a book that costs $300, you would have that $300. So that makes me sit and say, well, why would they spend more money on a book than come and actually see these books in action? And I had to look at it, and I came up with, you're looking at it, because like in anything else in life, you have to look at it and say, what's in it for me? And obviously you don't see what's in it for you to spend $200 to come for the day. And that's sad. And that tells me that if you don't see the value in this, if you don't see the value of coming to meet other NeoThink members, if you don't see the value of learning new knowledge all day long, or the value of being in the civilization of the universe all day, and I can go on and on and on about the value that these events have, okay? If you can't see the value in that for yourself, then there's a problem. And if you don't see that value in this, that means that you don't understand NeoThink. And then it brings me to another question. So if you're not understanding NeoThink, it's one of two reasons. Either you truly don't understand the knowledge, or you don't read the books that much. But yet you'll buy another book if Mark says so. Now, what's the point of you spending more money on books if you're not going to even read the books? Why don't you come to San Diego and see these books in action and feel what we feel about NeoThink and feel what these other people who are coming to this event. There's people on this phone right now who are counting the days down to come because they see what's in it for them. And you have to look at everything in life like that. You know, what's in it for me? And if you're not feeling that, you have to ask yourself, why am I not feeling that? And you got to be honest with yourself at that point. That's what these mentor calls are for, is to help us all move forward. But, this is why we have no clubhouses out there. This is why the TVP is on hold. And this is why when we have this event once a year, we don't get half as many as we should get. We have to take action, people. We have to take action. We have to be NeoThink, okay? It basically comes down to, because obviously with NeoThink, when you get to the right mentality with NeoThink, now you can say that we want to change the world, all right? But you don't change the world on how you look at it. You only change the world by how you live in it. And how are you living in this world? Are you affecting it to change, or are you just getting by each day? If you're not looking how you live in this world with the mentality of NeoThink, you're missing so much. Because in these books is the world. In these books is everything that you ever dreamed of. And we do our best, and I think we do a good job every year, but we do our best every year to give you so much value. Maybe look at this information a little differently. Try to really understand it's an incredible day for us. It's an incredible day for anybody who comes. So think about it this week. By Thursday night, it will go from $200 to $250. And that's not just a ploy, okay? The computer changes at midnight on Thursday so that we can't sell a ticket for $200 anymore. You boss, hey, if you want to pay $250, I'm not going to argue with you. But it is truly a $50 savings. All right. But look at the value you're going to get. And then if you think to yourself, well, I don't see the value, then you got to ask yourself, how can I start seeing the value of Neothink? I've been reading these books for 2 years. I come to these calls and I'm still not getting it. Come. And I'll personally sit down with you and spend some time with you at the event. Because it's worth it. This is about you now. This is about you. You've been spending all the time and money on these books and coming to these calls. Well, why not spend a few $100s more? Because this is an investment in you. This is training. This is going back to school. Because once you get this, you'll be grateful the rest of your life.
By the way, that is a letter from Mark Hamilton that will be read by Larry Johnson. So that's the whole thing. There is no video of Mark Hamilton. It is a written letter, so to speak, from Mark Hamilton, which I think Larry Johnson made that letter up.
You know, except for the one in Jersey. I'm so used to saying that because I'm so used to having the event in Newark every year, and that's it. You know. So this year we are blessed with 2 events.
This is a Sunday evening, and this is the Prime Cure Call, which was formerly known as the Powers Call at one time, back when Steve Fagan and Charlie Moore ran it. So things are so much different now since Mr. Steve Fagan passed away at the end of 2018. That's for sure. And honesty in this society, I still question the honesty that we have in this society. That's for sure. And the 12 Virgins Party, that's a hoax. I think that's a rip. I think they're going to rip people off. I think they're going to run with money. And I don't know about the 12 Virgins Party, man. That 12 Visions Party makes me question a lot of stuff. But here's Charlie Moore. We'll continue.
Think about that. Outside that door of that conference room, you're right back in the AC world. But in that room, the energy that is spent, because it's just so alive, it's electrifying. And if that's not worth $200, then maybe you don't belong here. I'm not pulling punches here. I'm speaking to you from the heart, and I earned that right to talk to you because I am very grateful that you come on these calls every week. Okay? Believe me. But I can help you better if you come to the event, because everybody talking will help you learn. You sitting there listening to other people will help you learn. We all help each other that day. It truly is an amazing, amazing day. And I have never spent any other days like it outside of Neothink like that. And I never get tired of doing them. Larry doesn't, Sage doesn't. We all love doing this. Karen's doing it this year for the first time, along with Brenda and Juanita and Martha Banks. So we have more people helping us now.
Yeah. You know what makes these events so amazing is that when you are in the presence of other Neothink members and you are having fun, your energy level goes through the roof. When you hear the laughs or the smile or the voice that you can now put with a person, it takes you to another dimension of living that you don't get in the anti-civilization, because everything is about destruction of life. Ask yourself, what event in the course...
That is Larry Johnson that you're hearing. He's the money scammer from 2018. Now he's saying Mark Hamilton has a letter that he's going to read. Do you buy that?
Think about that.
So I think he made the letter up himself, personally. That's my opinion.
There's all embracing of people who want to live life to the fullest. Not about destroying life, but living life. That's when you become Neothink. That's why these events are so important. Because you need that. It's like plugging in. You're like plugging in to re-energize you so that you can not only extend your life with this literature, but you can live a better, prosperous, healthy life by really living what those 12 visions are. You become that. You become one with those visions. And then you start to see what integrated honesty really is from that perspective by being at an event. That's why we constantly say it changes you. When you hear Neothink mentors who's been teaching this information for all this time, and they start to share that with you, and it starts to become part of you, and you're laughing, you're going to dinner, we're partying, you're going out for a drink, you're going out for a walk, you're spending time with people who think like you, it transforms who you are. And that is why you need to really think about it. Saying, I'm going to be at this event.
Thank you, Larry. So, couldn't have said it better myself. Just one more thing and then we'll stop this. You owe it to yourself to come. Because if you're not getting Neothink yet, and if you think that you're close, this will push you over. You owe it to yourself for the time and the money and the energy that you have spent on this. You owe it to yourself to get it. To finally understand what the Neothink mentality is. To live every day in that Neothink mentality. So you owe it to yourself to do this. Think about it. If you have any questions whatsoever, just give me a call this week, and I'll sit down and I'll be so honest with you, you won't be able to stand it. All right? So everyone, thank you. We will start the call here, but this has been the call. This is all part of the thing, but I have to get Tim up here now because Tim's going to sing us a song. But thank you, Larry. And,
Thank you.
Thank you, White Native, for coming up. And is Tim here?
Yeah,
there he
there he
is.
is.
I thought he was here. Hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm hanging in, Charlie. I'm
Good.
just listening to this, and it's really good stuff. Wow. I mean, I would be remiss not to say something, and I need to be brief, obviously, but what these guys are talking about, they're not blowing smoke. I try to get to these whenever I can. Unfortunately, this year it's looking like my job and a health issue will keep me from going, but I'm working on things. It's just you owe it to yourself to get there, like Charlie was saying, because you will not be the same. I very much am grateful for the fact that I am no longer somebody hiding out in the shadows that nobody knows about. And I did make that effort to step out and come to one of these things. And I got a chance to meet all these wonderful people that they're talking to you about. And I did have that change in my life. And I had questions. I had a lot of them, believe me. I couldn't figure this out. It made sense in a way. I couldn't argue with it, but I couldn't figure it out. So I had a lot of questions, and I started asking them. Because, hey, they had these calls going on, and it was like, hey, I can actually call in. I can ask somebody, how does this work? And so I did. And people started asking me questions, and I started getting asked to come to these things at different times to do different things. Can you write us a song? Can you do something else? And
So it sounds like their numbers for this event in 2020 doesn't look too hot right now. The numbers are kind of down, and so in some ways you're hearing some frustrations from the senior mentor, which is Charlie Moore, which I think people are questioning about the letter from Mr. Mark Hamilton. And the other question is how honest is people being when they are talking about this literature? You kind of have to judge for yourself in what you hear on each and every video that I do of the Neothink calls, the Neotech calls. You have to judge for yourself. I'm not going to say you're going to agree with everything, and that's fine if you don't. So we're going to go to Tim, and he's going to sing his special little song that he's been doing every Sunday evening, except for last Sunday. Here it is.
I truly never dreamed of the far away it seems, but you still believe in me. I'm not after the call. I try to stand instead of fall, and you've seen it all, but still believe. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks for all you gave. I'm grateful. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for all you gave. I'm grateful. I'm so thankful you would see something really big. Just that alone is helping me. You have so much to teach. You don't even have to preach, and I take it gratefully. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks for all you gave. I'm grateful. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for all you gave. I'm grateful. Because I want my life to matter. And I'm grateful that I'm still around to try. I'm so thankful you just tell me to keep trying. When my sculpture collapses and I just wanna cry, I strive to give a gift to you and show you I was true. Oh yes, it mattered what you gave. I bring your kindness back to you. Give your value to the world and you, and pay what you gave forward. And I just want to say thank you. Thanks for all you gave. I'm grateful. Yeah, I just got to say thank you. It matters all you gave. Thank you. Grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. So I thank you. I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful.
Wow. I like it, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful just sitting here listening to that. and I know that's only get better as time goes on.
Thank you.
Way to go, man.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I've been writing, and one of these things I've got to do. There's a lot of things that have just kind of taken me back full circle, and I've had to do some major thinking with some stuff that's been happening. But when I went to school a long time ago, in the days when I had hair, believe it or not, yes, they actually happened. I was going to college. I went for music, and there was a recording studio in town that was offering a course to learn how to do this, to do studio recording. And I was thinking, yeah, that'll be great. I can learn that, so I can do a finished product right away. And they had job placement, I'd be all set. Unfortunately, that closed before I could get there. And I'm coming back around to having another opportunity to do this another way. And just trying to get through tax season now, get myself well, and I'm going to go for it. But I really appreciate you, Charlie. I don't care who knows it. You really believed, even when I couldn't figure out how, I couldn't figure out what you would have seen. You still believed, and I just wanted to throw that out there. And the point being that, folks, you've got to get to these events. You've got to get there. I mean, we should be having more of them, and we should be having more people coming. And it's stuff like I'm talking about, and stuff like some of you are thinking, yeah, I remember these times. This was fabulous. That's why. And that was it. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there for you, Charlie. But I appreciate you, man.
Well,
thanks.
I know you do, and I'm hanging there for one reason. Look at this song that you just wrote in this past week and sang. All right? You got talent.
Thank you.
You have it. Okay? You are a good, great musician. You play a couple different instruments, you write songs. How many people can say that? But the thing is that you took action with it, and you have a CD out there, and now you're trying to make a better CD at home, and you have that out there sometime this year. This is Neo thinking action. Tim was at. I mean, I'm not going to go into this long here, but just to give you an idea, in 2012 we had an event in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I didn't meet, and it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was 3 days. And from Friday night until Sunday morning, I never even saw Tim, and he was there. But Sunday morning, I was a little tired, so I just went down the whole hall there, and anybody was sitting in chairs at that point because it was still pretty early. I just went over and introduced myself and shook their hand and talked. And I see this guy sitting over there, like trying to avoid being seen. And I went over and I introduced myself to Tim, and I think I said to him, did you come in for just a day today? No, I've been here all weekend. And I never even noticed him. And now he's been the MC for 2 of our events that we've had. Is it 2 that you did?
Yeah, it was
Tim.
2. It was 2 of them. Yeah, it was. I really kind of threw me when I got asked to do something like that. But it's been a journey. I mean, I was doing the best I could for a long time to just not socialize and not talk to people, and it was hard for me. I had to really come out of the shadows. I'd gone in real deep. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I'm not anything great in terms of particularly exceptional in the sense that I'm different. What you're talking about, this could happen to anybody. The growth that comes from this, it could happen to anybody. I'm not this case that could never be duplicated. It happens all the time, really, when people just put themselves out there and go for this. So
I was duplicated.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, you're here now, Karen. You're doing a fabulous job. Juanita's out there
I was
doing a
there
fabulous
too.
job. I mean, yeah. I mean, the proof's talking to you through these calls, and if you're not going, I mean, I can't figure that one out. But I mean, there are smarter people in here. Maybe they'll come up with an answer for that. But really, you're selling yourself short if let's put it this way. I mean, yeah, there are times that are difficult for people, and I get there. I get that. I know what it's like to be struggling to make ends meet, to be hungry, and you can't buy any more food. Wondering, gee, am I going to make the rent? And this is all the money that's coming in. I got to make it stretch, and so on. But you can outlast those times, and then it becomes a matter of fear. Am I going to face my fear? And am I going to step out? And am I going to go to this thing? Excuse me. That's all right. Am I going to go to this thing? And, granted, maybe it's not a lot of people. I don't know. I don't do well in crowds, really. I mean, it's gotten better, but it's still not my greatest thing to do. But, again, if it's just a matter of fear, this is all about fully integrated honesty, right? And you can never make this work if you're not fully integratedly honest with yourself. So, is this a step you're going to take? You can.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
The question is, will you? If you're not, I don't know why you're spending all this money on the books and then they're just not going anyplace. These events are specifically designed so you can use what's in the books. You can make that investment pay off going here. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling. You've got a call to go to, but what you're talking about here, guys, more power to you. That's all.
Thank you, Sam.
All this night, people, if you haven't noticed, everything ties into everything else. This all links together about coming to our workshop, about coming to these calls, about taking action. This all ties in. Nothing here doesn't tie into each other. So you have to start putting pieces of a puzzle together, and you got to think in pictures, and you got to see these pieces start to fit. And that, to me, that is the first biggest step that you can do, is get in that habit of thinking in pictures. You can't become Neothink without it. You got to be able to see yourself doing the things that you want to do. You got to be able to see your ideas coming together. So that's what these calls are for. That's what the summit's for. That's what everything else is for. Is for us to take action and move forward. Take action, move forward. Take action, move forward, and don't stop. Tim was at the lowest he probably was in his life when he came to Chicago. I think Karen was one of the lowest when she came to Neothink. I was at one of the lowest points in my life when I came here. And believe me, it was low. I match my loneliness, or what's that word I want to use? There's a word I want to use, but I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I was pretty low. And I won't get into that, but this is what Neothink has saved my life. Neothink has changed my life. And there's a lot of people I can thank, and obviously most people know that my first person I will always thank here. It's not that I have no respect for Mark Hamilton and Frank R. Wiles. I have the utmost respect for their writings, because it's taught me a lot. But the man that helped me push through this all was Steve Fagan. He's one that took me and said, you got it, you know it, and let's do this. And we became like the best friend I ever had. But but it's because I took action. and I push myself and I push myself. That's what we all have to do here. So we have to all do that for ourselves. You got to be able to push yourself. Get out of the damn comfort zone and take action. That's what you have to do. If you're not doing that, you gotta keep asking yourself, why am I not seeing this? Or why am I not getting this? Why am I not going to the summit? I probably could afford it. It'd be a little tough, but but if you don't see the value in it, then there's something missing. But that's not just because you're not coming to the summit, but if you don't see the value in this at all at this point, or very little, you're not helping yourself. And you owe it to yourself to do the best that you can for your life. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. To feel the highs that I get from this place, and it's constantly, almost every day, I will hit a new level. But that's just where I'm at my part of this, moving forward. As part of my journey, I've been on this journey. There isn't too many people still here that's been here longer than I have. But it doesn't matter how long you're here. It's how much that you're walking the walk, and how much are you on your path. It's like I wanted to talk about, and I probably, we talked about the civilization of the universe last week, and I thought it was a good call, but I thought it was missing something, and I thought about it for a couple of days, and I went back and I did listen to some of the recording. And the people who talked, there wasn't a lot of personal things that they, because I was trying to find, you need to see the sea of you. We need to be in that sea of you every day. When you're reading these books and you're learning something, you're in the civilization of the universe. When you're on these calls, you should be, because if you're sitting there and the TV's in the background, well, that's not being in the sea of you. That's the sea of you telling you that you're in this. That's the AC telling you, no, you're still in the AC world. If you miss a call because you want to watch something on TV, you're still in the AC world. So you have to start to think, and you have to start to see yourself. Because I came here, my main reason, one of them was, Mark said that we'll be able to see the future. That we will be able to predict our own future. And to me, that was like, whoa. If that's the only thing I learned here, is that, I'd be a happy man. So I dug in with this because I really wanted to know, because I was 57 when I came here, and I was going nowhere fast. And I didn't want to be that way for the rest of my life. Does any of us want, a year from now, look at this right now. It's February 23rd, 2020. All right? Let's go to February 23rd, 2021. 1 year from today. Do you want to still be in the same spot that you're in today? And if you didn't instantly say, no, I don't want to be in that same spot, then you got a problem. And if you say, no, I don't want to be here at all, I want to be somewhere else, that's good. But then you got to sit down and say, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to take myself and finally take action? And that's the hardest part here. It's easy to read the books. I don't think I think we make it more difficult than we should to understand them. But the hardest part here is to take these words and this information and to move forward with it, to get it into your life, to start taking the action. And that's why it's important to come, say, like to a summit or a clubhouse if we have them. You see it in action. You'll see Neo Think in action. Wow, this is what this is about. This is absolutely great. Now I can see why Mark said this or Mark said that or Frank R. Wallace said this, whatever. Now I see what Charlie means or Karen means or Juanita means when they talk about this or that. Now I'm starting to get it. Aha. But you have to just constantly chase yourself and say, stop it. Let's do this. And take control. And it ain't easy, because the AC world's always there pounding on you. Don't do that. Don't do this. Just sit there. We'll take care of you. All right? Like if you look at this country right now, talk about people not taking action. I mean, I'm still having a hard time comprehending this, even though it doesn't shock me. But it's still, like, if you really sit down and think about it, this is the United States of America, the best country that was ever on this planet. Nothing can compare to the history of our country. Nothing. The highs that this country had, unbelievable, all right? And now we have a man running for president who is a socialist. Are you kidding me? I mean, think about what happened to this country. What happened to the American dream? That we have sunk this low. We need it. This country needs it. That is the 12 Visions Party. That is the prime law. They need neothink. We have come along here at the absolute perfect time of this. We have a businessman in office, and many people hate the hell out of him. But look what he has done with this country. Look at the positive side of it. All right? He has saved this country so far. And I think he'll whip anybody who comes up against him this year, myself. But it's just, look how far we have come down as a country. Look how far we have come down in our personal lives. That's why we came here. We all had that. We had a reason. A lot of it was the same. Maybe you have some of your own personal reasons that you came here too. We all do. But have you fulfilled them? Have you made strides to do that? And only you can answer that. You can run and hide from it, but I'm going to constantly bring it up so that you won't be able to run and hide from it, because we have become our own worst enemy. And I truly understand now about taking 100% responsibility in life and all these things that they have taught us here. Because I truly understand one thing. The only person who can stop me is me. Nobody else has that power over me to do that. I'm the only one who can stop me. So sometimes when I do stop myself, I'll sit there and I'll talk about it with myself for as long as it takes to understand why I did that. And I still do it. There's days when I'm not too, that I'm not, Charlie Moore, the mentor here, or something. Some days I'm just Charlie Moore, the stupid AC guy. And we all have those days. Sometimes you can't help it. So it's, and I had that happen to me again this weekend. But you can get through these instances so much easier by taking action, seeing yourself in the symbolization of the universe, seeing yourself being more than just who you are today. I'm going to hope a year from now, we're all still here, and many others will be here. But let's look at it this way. For the people who have been here over a year, all right? So where were you last February 23rd of 2019? All right, a year ago tonight, where were you? And have you improved to where you are today? And this is where honesty comes in. This is where you have to say to yourself, all right, let me see. A year ago, I was doing this, and I was this, and this, and this, and this, and you know what? I really haven't improved that much. But I have. Take what you have improved and celebrate that. But then think why you haven't improved more. Did you get a little lazy? Did you let the AC world pop in a little more than you did previous? You have to understand, everything comes back to you. We have to take that responsibility. We'll talk about that at this summit. We'll talk about it on these calls all the time. I am not perfect by any stretch of anybody's imagination here, believe me. But I know when to catch these things pretty quick because I've trained myself to do that. But still, the AC will hit you some days, and it won't let go until you take it in. And then you see what it did to you again. And then you get all pissed off, but then you got to sit there and say, all right, now how do I fix this? How do I approach this problem? How do I got to take care of it again? And I had this problem a couple months ago, and it happened again. Basically a couple months ago, somebody broke into my debit card information, and they had some fraudulent charges on my debit card. So the bank called me up and asked me if I did this and this and this. I said no. So I had to go and how to get a new bank card, okay, with a new number. And I pay all my bills through my debit card. So I had to call up all these different companies, and some I skipped and missed. And then, to say you can't take it out of this card anymore, but you can take it out of this number. And don't the same thing happen Saturday morning? I found this out. All right. So now I got to start tomorrow. I had to go to the bank today, and I had to change all the, I had to get a new card. But now I got to start calling all these things again tomorrow. This is where the AC world would just kick your ass some days. And I was furious. I got enough calls to make every day. I don't need to make extra calls to get, to change all this stuff around again. But it happened. So like the AC world sometimes will really get to you, where you have to take care of this stuff, But I'm handling it so much better now because I'm Neothink. I'm not, every day, I'm not going to let them kick me in the ass. Sometimes they'll take control of me for an hour or whatever and throw me off my game, but they're not controlling me. I'm still living that Sea of You world. I'm still living in the Neothink fashion. And a lot of this would have knocked me, let's face it, this happened to me even 5, 6, 7 years ago, or before I came to Neothink, or if I never went into Neothink, and this happened again like 2 months apart, I'd be bitching and complaining, and I'd be so, and I would let it just take me over. Now, I don't get, I get upset by it, and we have a right to get upset by things that this stupid world does. But then I say, all right, stop, and I'll sit there and say, all right, so I have to make these calls again. It's no big deal. You did it before, you can do it again. And then all of a sudden I start to calm down a little more, and I start feeling a little more positive, and I'm taking control, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm back, It's all right, I got to do this tomorrow, I got to do it tomorrow. It's not going to kill me. It'll take me a couple hours, and then I'll be done with it, and that's it. All right, so it's going to eat up some time that I didn't want to spend tomorrow doing that, but hey, that's the way it goes. So you get stronger excuse me, you get stronger with it as time goes on. But as soon as I found out yesterday, I was really furious because it just happened. And I'm sitting there, say, well, Saturday morning, oh, come on, give me a break. And I was furious. And I sat there, and for about 20 minutes, I was just boiling, and the steam coming out of my ears. And then I said, stop. It's not, you can handle this. And I start seeing myself in the Sea of You. Honestly, Neothink will bring you back to Earth. It'll bring you back to where you are. It'll bring you back to remind you of how much power you control. You have control over your life. It does it every time. If you let it. If you understand it. And that's what helps. That's how you get through this. That's how you can stop the AC world from ruining the whole day on you. You fight back, and you fight back with Neothink. And that honesty that's in there. And you're saying, you know what? You might have kicked me down today for an hour, but you didn't get any more than that hour from me. And then you bounced back and you took care of it. power. You'll feel it coming back to you. You'll feel so damn good about yourself. That's how this helps. This is what NeoThink will do. And then, I mean, the reason that Larry and Sage and I and Brenda and Karen and Juanita and Martha Banks, there's 7 of us now who did a lot of work for this. This is why we want you to come, because this is the information you're going to learn. And you'll hear from other people throughout the whole day. You'll feel better. You'll feel high. And the people who are coming to this for the first time, I understand your excitement. Because I was, it's amazing how you'll feel. I went to that first clubhouse, and you all know that story just about. And I was so nervous going there. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anybody from there, I think, at all. All I knew was one name, Steve Fagan. I had no idea who he was. And because we talked for like 10 minutes on the phone, and it was the same week that the clubhouse was coming up that Saturday. So I drove an hour and a half. It was about an hour and a half to get there. And I walked in, and it was like, I almost got blown down to the door. Of course, the energy level was so high. It was like 40, 45 people there. It was just loud. And everybody's talking. I finally met Steve, and I met Sage, I met Larry, and a few other people there. And I was in awe. And I felt at home right away. And as the day went on, it literally, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more. You'll get sick of hearing it. That clubhouse changed my life more than any other thing out there. And that's how you should feel coming to your first summit. This is going to change my life. That's why you get excited. You might not even have thought about it that way, but that's how you'll feel. I'm coming there. So if you don't think it's worth it for you, if you don't see what's in it for you, there's where you're missing it. This summit could change your life only if you let it, and only if you show up.